Catching up with Mike Ralston this morning from Blencowe Resources. Mike, morning.
Good morning, Andrew, and glad to be back.
Look, Mike, firstly, give us a brief recap on Blencowe Resources.
Now, for those who have not seen Blencowe before, we have 100% ownership of the Orom-Cross Graphite Project in Uganda. It's a significant graphite project in size and scale, estimated 2 to 3 billion tons. We've been doing a lot of work on it over the last couple of years through drilling, feasibility, and we have established that it has got amazing credentials, both in terms of low operating costs, in terms of the purity of the end product. And every way we look at it, we're sitting on something very special. We're now in a process of completing the definitive feasibility study so we can get to a decision to mine.
Mike, you've announced this week here a £1.5 million cap raise, a good result given the tough markets. Tell us more about the raise and the use of funds.
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. It is a tough market, and I don't think people necessarily appreciate that, certainly in the junior space. And I was very happy with the result in terms of the support that we got. It's very important to have that cash because without that money, we can't complete the feasibility study. And obviously, all the value within this company sits within completing that study and showcasing the asset in what I've just mentioned in terms of the unique and special differentiated value that we've got within Orom-Cross. So I think it's a good result. It definitely gives us money to go forward, in particular to start the drilling campaign. We've talked about a 6,000 meter drilling program to target a doubling of the JORC resource and reserve, I might add. I mean, we're not just talking about resources, we're talking about reserves. And what that will do is will ultimately feed into the definitive study, and it will allow us to produce at a much higher level, at much bigger production targets, which will flow on considerably more value into the overall modeling and the NPV. And it will give us a longer life of mine. So it's a very important part of the feasibility study. And it's important that we get it underway because it takes approximately 4 to 6 months, I guess, in total, in terms of mobilization, drilling, assays, revised JORC resource report. So very important we get on with it. And this money gives us the opportunity to do that. And of course, to continue with the other work that we've got to complete in terms of infrastructure, all the studies that we're doing on the ground. So yeah, we're continuing forward, and this money gives us the ability to do that.
And management took part in this funding, Mike, did they?
Yeah, I was incredibly, it was very important to us to showcase that because it's a massive show of faith when your COO and your sort of chief Asian sales and marketing advisor both take significant stakes and input into this particular capital raise. So I obviously am very thankful for them for doing that. But I think it obviously showcases that we've got the shares have gone into sticky hands. But it really does underline the value that these very senior and experienced executives see within the project. So it's a massive endorsement. And we're obviously going to do everything we can to come out with the big value that we're seeking to showcase in terms of this DFS.
Well, Mike, in terms of the DFS and next steps, what's the roadmap looking like?
There's a lot of news flow going forward. I think the DFS itself, as I say, is got to be completed. We're targeting the middle of next year, and that's largely due to the fact, as I just said, that it takes 4 to 6 months to complete a drill program, and we've been waiting on this money to start that drill program. So that can commence as soon as we can get it underway. But in parallel to that, you'll remember that we announced about 4 to 6 weeks ago that we have a downstream SPG strategy where we're going to further purify the graphite and beneficiate it in country. We've got one of the leading SPG producers in the world that is going to come and partner with us to do that. And as that's going to be one of our principal off-takers for the Orom-Cross mine, we have to go through a process by which we do a definitive study on that project as well. And we've only just put that joint venture and that whole process of that SPG facility into place. So we're going to conduct that feasibility study in parallel, both of which are going to give us news flow, both the drilling and that SPG facility study. And then there's a lot of other news flow because, again, as you're aware, we've completed our 600-ton bulk sample test program in China. We're now in a process of being qualified. We've got purified graphite that's gone out to various tier one off-takers. And these OEMs are going to be coming back to us very shortly, and we'll be negotiating MOUs right the way through to off-take agreements. So lots happening there too. And I think there's going to be, a lot of news flow that emanates from this. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the big value-adding re-rating for this company will come when we complete the study. And everything that we do along the way from now is all about the process of getting to that end point.
I suppose, Mike, just building on that, a bit nearer term, what are you working on and what are the next milestones?
Well, as I say, off-take agreements are there. SPG joint ventures there. We've got a couple of other strategic initiatives that we've mentioned before in the past that we'll try to bring to the market once we get them closed and able to do that. Value adding, of course. We've got this drilling program, and we've got a lot of feasibility work going on. We're also doing a lot of work with funding partners or potential funding partners for the project implementation money that we're going to have to raise to get Orom-Cross up and into production ahead. So, yeah, a lot of work going on, as always, and I think that's going to create a lot of news flow. And I think it's more likely to be positive news flow, and obviously, hopefully, that's going to start to really showcase what we've got here and how valuable and unique this project is.
And Mike, I understand you'll be attending a Focus IR Q&A webinar December the 3rd. Anyone interested can get in touch with Focus IR for some more details.
I look forward to it. That'll be fun. So, yeah, thank you, Andrew. It's been great chatting, and let's catch up again soon.